Okay, now the front part of her hair has lightened sufficiently, and what I've done is taken out these two green areas, and we're going to do those with a lower volume peroxide and bleach. I've taken out the original barriers and I put new barriers in. I'm just going to paint down over it. As long as I get that up close to the part, I should be okay. Okay, become blonde. Okay, I've got her dried now, and as you can see, the top hairs are going to be the lightest, and as we go back, because this is wider than this, I have darker hairs underneath that give me the appearance of it being streaked when actually it's just solid blocks of color. It's the shape and the placement of that shape on the head that makes the hair fall into streaks. What I'm going to do is take the back part of her hair, and we're going to do that in in between a level 5 and a level 6. And I'm going to use violet and rose to kind of cut out any, to use as a drabber, but not cut out all the red, but just darken or tone down the red that she normally gets with her regular application. After I apply that, then I'm going to go through the front area and apply the toners. I'll be using Color Touch for the toners. Okay, I already have a gram of the Nature Control. I'm going to put in just 1/10 of a gram of violet. That will bring me down to my level 5, 6. A gram is going to be 6. By adding the drabber, I'm going to be adding a little bit more depth, so that brings me down to a 5. And then 3/10 of a gram of rose, which will give it that iridescent sparkle. adding it to 30 grams of 20 volume peroxide because you're going to dissolve your crystals in the peroxide. The company includes a metal whisk for doing this, and I think if you remember on the first posts I put about it, my biggest complaint was that it took forever to dissolve these crystals. But then I got these Sprushes, and I have found that with the spatula blade I can actually scrape it against the markings that appear in the bottom of a bowl that we use to measure out inches of tube color, and it cuts my mixing time in just about half. You do have to mix all these crystals completely, because if you don't, particularly on lighter colors, you are going to notice spots within the shaft of the hair where a solid pigment was not broken up and puts a rather dark stain, which really looks unattractive. Okay, now effectively what I've done is I've made tinted peroxide, and to that I'm going to add a cream that has a small amount of ammonia in it. The ammonia will react with the pigment in the peroxide and turn it right into regular color. "30 grams. Measuring is really important, particularly if you're mixing up small batches. 30 grams of color is approximately equal to half a tube. With other products I would probably have to use 3/4 of a tube, maybe even a full, for this amount of hair. But because I'm using the Sprush, it saves on the amount of product because I get to spread it a lot thinner. There's no waste. And normally on a color this dark, yes, I would wear gloves, but as you can see with the bleach, I didn't have them. So luckily I clean my brushes tomorrow, and that stuff usually takes off everything, including any stain off of my hands.